What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dana White talks about what's next for Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira and his legions of fans have been calling on the UFC to have Poatan fight for the promotion's heavyweight title. But Dana White continues to put the brakes on the idea, even if it sounds like he's warming up to the possibility somewhat. For months now, the MMA world has buzzed about whether we could see Pereira go for an historic third division title, especially since the former middleweight champ and current light heavyweight king has made it clear he would jump at the opportunity for fighting for the heavyweight crown. But since Tom Aspinall is waiting in the wings to fight for the undisputed title, and because White continues to insist champion John Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic next, it's clear Pereira won't get his wish anytime soon. That said, while talking with Kevin Iola from Yahoo Sports recently, White did outline how we could see Poatan fighting at heavyweight.
To think about him moving up to heavyweight, when you talk about guys like Cyril Gane, Aspinall, Volkov, I mean, these guys are monsters. Cyril Gane's huge, man. He's huge, he's athletic, he's powerful. I like Alex, and Alex is a savage. Let Alex do what he's doing in his division. And you know what? If he wipes out the entire division and we're sitting here going, who's next? Then maybe let him move up to heavyweight and do some type of super fight there.
As it stands right now, it sounds like we won't see Pereira fighting at heavyweight anytime soon. However, if Pereira does beat Magomed Ankalaev next, as there aren't any other really big fights for Poatan at light heavyweight, we guess that could change. But what do you think? Could we see Poatan fighting for heavyweight gold in 2025? Up next, Colby Covington gets called out by UFC fighter. Colby Covington is well accustomed to being called out. After all, the trash-talking welterweight is one of the most polarizing fighters in the game. But it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to the call-out he received once again from Michael Chiesa. Chiesa returned to the octagon for the first time since last July, this past weekend, and submitted Tony Ferguson in the opening round. After the fight, Chiesa proceeded to tell Mackenzie Pavicic that he wants to throw hands with Covington and determine who is the Pacific Northwest's welterweight king.
There is something I want to say. I want to fight Colby Covington. I've been saying this for years. Look, the guy can sit on the sidelines and say whatever he wants, whatever. I'm not chasing the ranking. I don't give a I just want to find out who is the best fighter, who is the best welterweight in the Pacific Northwest. I know he resides in Dade County, Mr. 305, but let's find out who's the best in the Northwest. Is it me or is it you? That's what I want to find out. Are you going to idly sit around and do nothing, or are you going to come back and fight? Keep your ranking. I don't give a I just want to find out who's the best in the Northwest.
As Chiesa noted, Colby currently does live in Florida, but Chaos grew up in Oregon, and his first pro fight actually took place in that state. Chiesa, meanwhile, is from Spoke Valley in Washington State, so that's where you get this Pacific Northwest angle. But it would be kind of surprising, really, if Colby agreed to the challenge. While Chiesa is calling on Chaos to not think about the ranking implications, Colby has been talking about fighting rising contender Shavkat Rakhmonov. So it would be quite the pivot to accept a fight with Chiesa, who's currently ranked in the top 15. Now let's take a look at Max Holloway reacts to fight announcement. Recently, UFC President Dana White confirmed that, as expected, Max Holloway is going to challenge the featherweight champ Ilia Topuria. Since then, Blessed has shared a brief but very memorable reaction to the announcement, especially if you're a Game of Thrones fan. The former featherweight champion will battle the current 145 king at UFC 308, October 26. In advance of the anticipated fight, Holloway let it be known that winter is coming. If anyone can share a warning like that, it's the man who holds the BMF belt. Now, it'll be fascinating to see if Holloway can reclaim the featherweight crown. Next up, Umar sends a warning to Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Now that Umar Nurmagomedov has defeated Corey Sandhagen, the undefeated fighter is warning both Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili that they're in for a smashing. Nurmagomedov battled Sandhagen in the headliner of UFC Abu Dhabi on Saturday and worked his way to a unanimous decision victory. While Umar was unable to fire up the masses with a highlight reel finish, he did what he needed to do to get the victory. And he did so despite the fact that the renowned striker was able to keep the fight standing for a lot of the fight. Leading up to the card, Nurmagomedov reported he had been told a win would secure him a title shot. So, right after the win, he issued this warning to both Sugar and Merab.
They said I'm next for the title. I am #1 contender. I will fight for the title next. Doesn't matter it's gonna be Merab or O'Malley. Be careful, guys. I coming for you. Doesn't matter who gonna be next. I coming.
Would you rather fight Merab or would you rather fight Sean?
You know, if I will choose, they will think I scared one of them. That's why I want to fight with both of them. I don't scare no one. Doesn't matter. Even if boss, I will fight. I will smash them both.
Given Sandhagen was ranked number 2 prior to the event, it would make sense if Khabib's cousin gets tapped for a title shot. The champ, O'Malley, is set to face Dvalishvili at UFC 306 on September 14th. What do you think? Will we see the legendary Nurmagomedov family adding yet another championship to their packed trophy case? And who do you think matches up better against Umar, Merab, or Sugar? Up next, MMA community reacts to Conor McGregor footage. Conor McGregor was on hand at the latest BKFC this weekend, and his appearance certainly didn't quell doubts the star won't be returning to the octagon in 2024. In fact, what went down prompted some people to claim McGregor's fighting days are over. It's been over 3 years now since McGregor last fought. The former champion was booked to fight Michael Chandler at UFC 303 last month, but a broken pinky toe moved McGregor to the DL. Since then, there's been talk McGregor and Chandler will fight in the UFC's final pay-per-view event of the year, but nothing official has been announced. So back to the latest BKFC card. As you also probably know, McGregor recently purchased a stake in the bare knuckle fighting promotion. At their most recent event, McGregor shot back a beer before cutting a promo.
What's more bad than bare knuckle and American rock and roll? Nothing, baby, that's what. Here, take off the gloves and fight. There's nothing like bare knuckle.
Given McGregor's hiatus from fighting, enormous wealth, and habit for making headlines due to less than ideal reasons, the MMA community had plenty of fiery takes. Here's some examples. That Chandler fight is never happening, bro. He is never fighting again. Never ever. Conor looking like Dana Light. Conor unofficially announced his retirement. No way he's gonna fight Chandler, unless it's a beer drinking contest. Wow, that would be impressive if he were a frat bro, but he's supposed to be a world-class MMA fighter. What the F is his team doing, letting him drink himself to death? Can we finally all band together and stop hoping for some facet of the previous version of this man to come back? It's never going to happen. This version of Conor will fight again, and he will get decimated in quick fashion. Man is an absolute joke now. Yeah, this man isn't ever coming back to fight in the UFC. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. This isn't the same Conor as before. He doesn't care about fighting anymore. Now sure, just because Conor pounded back a beer in the ring doesn't necessarily mean he's not serious about fighting again. But even his biggest fans can likely understand why some people reacted the way they did. Do you think we'll see McGregor fight in the octagon again? Up next, Dana White goes off on pound-for-pound rankings again. It doesn't really take much to get Dana White fired up while talking to the media, but one issue that's really triggering the UFC president these days is the argument Jon Jones isn't the best pound-for-pound fighter. Since Jones has fought just once since 2020, many believe Bones cannot be deemed the planet's best pound-for-pound fighter. Further, the argument goes Jones was far from dominant in his last couple of fights at light heavyweight. Well, some of the people who feel that way are clearly the media members who vote on the UFC's rankings, as currently, Jones is ranked number 3 in the pound-for-pound division, Islam Makhachev is ranked number 1, and Alex Pereira is ranked number 2. If you follow White, you know that in recent months, he's ferociously shot down the argument that Jones is not the top pound-for-pound fighter in the game. One of the people he's argued with about this in the past is Yahoo Sports' Kevin Iola, and while talking with the veteran journalist more recently, White went off again.
Jon Jones is ranked number 3 pound for pound in the world. Most ridiculous, embarrassing, stupid, know nothing about fighting ranking of all time. Jon Jones is still an active fighter. He beat Cyril Gane. He's going to fight again in November. Jon Jones is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, period, end of story. Whether you want to call Islam, Pereira, number 2, number 3, all good. To have anybody above Jon Jones right now just goes to show that you know absolutely nothing about combat sports and fighting. The other thing about Jon Jones, when you talk about inactivity, any fighter in the history of fighting, including Muhammad Ali, was never the same again after his 3-year layoff. And Muhammad Ali wasn't doing bad things to himself like Jon Jones was. And Jon Jones comes back and looks even better. It's undebatable.
And not surprisingly, White's fiery comments prompted plenty of reaction online. And he's absolutely right. Pound for pound is based on an entire career. Losses obviously shoot you down the pound for pound list, but Jon Jones hasn't lost. When GSP came out of retirement after 4 years and beat One Eye Bisping, he became pound for pound number 1 because it was his entire career. I actually agree with Dana. Jon Jones being ranked number 3 is ridiculous. He should be at like number 9 or number 10. Yeah, Jon Jones has something on Dana White that could get him life in prison. Dana White if glazing Jon Jones was a sport. Part of this is Dana now waiting 18 months on a Jones vs Stipe fight that he knows has lost interest at heavyweight. He's flustered. Now, if Jones cruises through Stipe Miocic later this year, will the media members move Bones to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings? And should a victory over Miocic warrant such a move? What do you think? Chito Vera breaks silence on UFC loss. Marlon Chito Vera came up short in his bid to return to the win column this past weekend, and following his defeat, The longtime contender has released a statement for his fans. Vera faced former flyweight king Deiveson Figueiredo at UFC Abu Dhabi and lost the very competitive fight via unanimous decision. In a follow-up social media post, Chito posted this statement in Spanish. "Today I failed myself. Thanks to my family, my team, and my people who pushed me to continue. Maybe I will come back very quickly this time. But that's life. Sometimes you have to take some time for the mind and body to recover. Once again, thanks for those who are there." It'll be interesting to see what comes next for Vera, who is coming off a loss to the current bantamweight champ Sean O'Malley. Prior to 2024, the 31-year-old vet hadn't lost back-to-back fights since 2018. Could we see Vera throwing hands with, say, Song Yadong or Peter Yan next? Or maybe Corey Sandhagen, who also took an L on Saturday. The two fought last year, and Sandhagen won the fight via split decision. Who would you like to see Chito face next? A UFC fighter was involved in a shootout after an attempted assassination on his life. Ramon Taveras posted on Instagram sharing the camera footage of the incident, and in the caption said, "Monday, July 29, 2024. A group of armed men drove up on me at my mother's house and tried to take my life. By the grace of God, I made it out with no injuries and was able to grab my own firearm and return fire in self-defense. JSO did the bare minimum for my brother and is now doing the same for me. They assumed I was targeted due to gang violence or a problem I caused. I don't bother anyone. I stay in my own lane. I focus on my career and family. My family feels unsafe and I fear for my children, who nearly lost their father, the person striving to change their lives. This could have been a memorial post. I could have lost my life just like my brother, or somebody else could have theirs trying to take mine. I'm blessed and happy to be alive, but I am leaving Duval." Joe Rogan is allegedly suing MSNBC for $30 million for editing and splicing together a video that made it sound like he was pro Kamala Harris when he was actually criticizing her.
She's gonna win.
No, she's not.
She can win. I feel like we are in this very bizarre time where people are giving in to the bullshit in a way that I never suspected people would before. And this is one, they just want no Trump no matter what, and they're willing to gaslight themselves to think that. And by the way, I think Hillary could win. If Hillary jumped back in.
I've been saying that for months.
If Hillary jumped back in, I feel like Hillary could win.
Top comments. For Umar to stand and outstrike Sandman was pretty impressive. Insane that Colby implied Bilal was the one ducking him. Not gonna lie, some of those clips from Pereira and Zuckerberg kinda gave me Monster Energy drink vibes. I'm okay with making only fun fight for Shara Bullet. I don't see he nearly become a champ, but his fighting style is entertaining and fun to watch.